قل بفضل الله وبرحمته فبذلك فليفرحوا هو خير مما يجمعون.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا وحبيبنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا وحبيبنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم علمنا بما ينفعنا ونفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وعملا متقبلا اليك يا رب العالمين. قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في محكم تنزيله بعد اعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق خلق الإنسان من علق اقرأ وربك الأكرم الذي علم بالقلم علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم. صدق الله العظيم. Dr. Hassan made it really hard for me now. Allah reward him with ease, inshallah. I just, first of all, thank you very much for the invitation. I have really been trying to dodge this invitation for a while, so I was here. I just learned some myself here, so I apologize to you firstly. Allah's decree overcomes everything. They invited me to come to the Mawlid, and subhanAllah, I couldn't then because it was too far ahead for me to plan. And Allah still brought me here. La ilaha illallah. So, alhamdulillah, thank you for the invitation. The other thing I like to say is when I was a child, I was about 10 years old, and at the age of 10, I was at a madrasa at the age of 8, and it was more like a huge, I don't know, if anybody's been imprisoned, they'll probably know, it was one of those type of things. And however, when I was 10, I was really fortunate to come to Birmingham with Monatullah Hafidh, and I was across the road in Sufiyatullah Sahib Rahimahullah Ta'ala. I was really fortunate to have met them at that age, and I was also very fortunate to have got a hug. So anybody who knows that blessed hug, that's Allah's creation, where, alhamdulillah. So I was 10, I just have those beautiful memories of that hug and that meeting at that age. So alhamdulillah, Allah give them the highest stations in Jannah, inshallah. I used to always joke with my friends saying, we need a wali in Birmingham, we really do. I said to Kamar, why didn't we die and be buried in the roundabout? It would be brilliant, It reminds me of Pakistan as you drive past, put some money and carry on, But Allah gave us, alhamdulillah, somebody close, and Allah gave them the highest stations, inshallah. Now, we are speaking about the Sirah. We were very fortunate to have Shami people here. We're very dear to myself personally, many of you here. And when I first went to Damascus, and this just shows you these people, how Allah put this love of Rasulullah in their hearts, and not just their hearts, but everything they do. And we went to Jama Zayd and Thabit, and we went upstairs on a Friday morning, and I didn't know what we were doing, apart from the fact that we were meeting some scholar. And in my first ever gathering, I was attending a Shafi fiqh lesson. And at the end of the Shafi fiqh lesson, they gave some milk out. And the man who was pouring the milk, he was saying, Ishrib al-Halim wa salli al-Habib. Allahu Akbar. And he was saying basically, drink the milk and send salutations on the beloved. And so even in their pouring of the milk, these people found ways to praise Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So, alhamdulillah, we, in this beautiful gathering, in this very beautiful place, and you people should really thank Allah more than other places, because places like High Wycombe and other towns, cities, don't have this type of setup where you can just drop into a mawlid with your children, every night of the evening, and if you wanted, maybe go to more than one mawlid a day. Is that true for Birmingham and Royal Holland?
There's a sister.
Yeah.
There's a sister who's going across the road, and she said I saw her going, and she said, "This is my fourth moment today."
Allah Akbar. So Shaykh Tanvir Hussain just mentioned how one of the sisters had attended. She attended her fourth mawlid today. That again, I feel, because again, Damascus is very close to me. That was Damascus. I asked her standard, we'll get like 3 speeches a day, or we'll go to 3 mawlids in a single day, or 4. And that's what it was. So that's a blessing. That's a blessing for you, for the people of Birmingham. You should really make the most of it. The Prophet ﷺ highlighted this type of lesson. But let's talk about what we're here to talk about, which is this portion or this part of the Sirah, which is Makkah period. Whenever I have this opportunity to discuss the Sirah with my friends, we would like to divide the Sirah into 3 or 4 parts. It's just easier to comprehend. And so, if you look at the life of the Prophet of God, ﷺ, he lived on this planet for 63 years. And so we know, we're well acquainted with Makkah period and Medina period. Rasulullah after receiving the first revelation, he lived for another 23 years. And so 13 of those were spent in Makkah Mukarramah as Rasulullah. And then the remainder were honored to Medina Munawwarah, where for 10 years Rasulullah lived in Medina Munawwarah. So we know the Makkah and we know the Medina period. You could easily divide the Sirah and say pre-revelation. So from birth up to revelation, and then go Makkah and then go Medina. And you could also perhaps add another category, which would be a pre-birth, before Rasulullah was born, what happened, the events leading up to his blessed arrival upon this earth, and then going from his birth all the way up until the first revelation. And it's a good way of doing this, because when you do something like this, it's easier for us to memorize, it's easier for us to digest, because the Sirah is not just there to be read. We have this incredible religion, a wonderful religion. My children were asking me in the car, what happens to a Christian when they die? What formalities, what do their loved ones do with them to prepare them to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And this is the back of the course we were running, which is preparing for the dead, washing and shrouding. And I said to them, nothing that I'm really aware of apart from the fact that they prepare, they clothe them in what their best clothing and so forth, or their ashes, one of the two. But we have an incredible tradition in every aspect of it, alhamdulillah, in the way we wash the dead and we prepare them to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So here, now coming to this wonderful time of the Makkah period, a Makkah period when the first revelation was revealed to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Makkah is this city of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has spoken about so often in the Quran, and even swore, taken a qasam by this wonderful city. I would highly recommend people, to go and visit. I know people visit all over the world. They hear about wonderful things in the world, and they go visit. They go visit islands, and they do this, they do that. You should go. Intend to go visit the house of Allah. It's one of the best things you can do for yourself, and also one of the greatest things that you can give to your children. When we're talking about tarbiyah, we're talking about raising children, we're talking about trying to give our children the best we have to offer. You'll find there's nothing greater than them physically seeing and being in a place that the Prophet happened to be in. That, when you tell them he was here, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this is the Kaaba, it sticks with them. It's something that stays very close to the extent you find children saying, can I have a Kaaba birthday cake? It becomes something real that they know and they relate to. And so, even if you go for a day, I said this to a brother passing in a lesson, I said, what's wrong with you, man? No, you go for a day to Turkey, you go for a day to this place and that place, go for a day to Makkah. I was sitting in Medina Munawwara in the hotel, and we were having breakfast, and suddenly I looked and there was a brother there from Islam. I said, what are you doing here? He said, you said come Umrah for a day, so I came for a day. I thought, La ilaha illallah. And he went to Makkah. He remained there for a few hours, did tawaf and everything. And then he came to Medina Munawwara with his brother, and he was flying out 3 hours later. But I said to him, good luck to you. Alhamdulillah for you that you have seen the house of Allah. You know, even if it happens to be for this short period of time. Who said it's all about how long you see things for? You know, if a Sahabi or a person sees Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam with La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, they're khalas, they're a Sahabi. You can do whatever you want all your life and you will never touch that rank. You get it? Because he set eyes on the messenger of God with Iman. And so here, do this incredible place of Makkah. Before, inshallah, they want to take away everything, but they have taken away a lot. And, you know, don't show them the house in which he was born, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Show them your children, yourselves. Expose yourself to that neighborhood of Rasulullah, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. These are amazing, amazing things that still exist today, and alhamdulillah, very possible to do. So here, when the Prophet of God received that first revelation, and he was in a cave, Ghar Hira, this incredible place, which was, you know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala designed and planned this in perfection, that he found a place where he could sit and he had the best view in the city. That he was high up and he could set his sights on the very house that his great-great-grandfather built, the house of Allah. The very house which will play this incredible pivotal role in the future. Every Muslim who prays, their prayers are valid until they've sought out that Kaaba al-Musharrafa. You know, when people die, they're buried, you know, they're buried with their faces facing that holy Kaaba. And so, this incredible place, the Prophet ﷺ, as we have in Bukhari, narrated by our mother, Sayyidatuna Aisha radiallahu ta'ala, and right in the beginning, he says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then this ru'ya salihah is known, and it carries on. And so, what we find is, before the first revelation, he sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the first sort of opening towards this revelation, the preparation, was a good dream, a pious dream that he would see, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He would see a dream, and then it explains that whatever he would see in his dream, the next day he would wake up and he would see the exact same thing happening. I saw a dream last night. I had a fever, and I saw Dr. Hassan in my dream. And in my dream I said to him, Dr. Hassan, I'm not well. And he said to me, don't worry, it's okay, I'll find somebody to replace you. And I'm here now. So some people see dreams, and they see the same thing happening as they saw in the dream, they see in real life. Some people, it's all barakah. I saw him in a dream, I saw him in a waking state. Allahu Akbar, right? So this is preparation. So if you see a good dream, what should you do? To thank Allah. Shaykh Tanvir would tell me about his grandfather. He said, my grandfather, he was a small-day grandfather. You could see in the market such a person arriving in his dream. The next day, he would be there at his shop, and the same person saw in the dream coming. So the Prophet ﷺ used to see true dreams. So some people see true dreams. What should they do? Thank Allah. Alhamdulillah was given them this blessing. And if you see true dreams, it's not straight to Facebook or Instagram and here we go. No, it's people you trust. It's a gift from Allah. It can be lost very easily. So here, this is a lesson we learn. That some people in this ummah see true dreams. And that is, as he said, 146th of prophecy. In In some narrations you have there's 70 or 25 parts of prophecy or 70 parts of prophecy. But this 46-hour teacher, Shaykh Tanvir Hussain, would mention about the great Allama, our teacher, alhamdulillah, with this, Shaykh Tanvir Hussain, he would say that the Prophet of God lived for 23 years as a prophet on earth. He was calling people to Allah for 23 years. This 6 months is 146 true dreams. 148 for 6 months that he saw true dreams. That's right at the beginning of his mission. It is 146 true dreams are one part of being a true prophet. And so that beginning part is that. So that's how we extract that understanding. So true dreams are good, but if you see a horrible dream, what should you do? Lots of people nowadays, that's what they see, because they watch all these horrible things and that's what they see in their dreams. Here you should be careful. You ever hear this from your teachers? You spit to your left-hand side, and you seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So here, just be careful who's on your left-hand side. So here, this is the first part, okay, of true dreams. That is something incredible, which we need so much today, which was that he would, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, go to Ghar Hira and remain there. He would camp out in Ghar Hira, what we call khalwa. He would stay in Ghar Hira, and I know this because Shaykh Muslim, Allah protect him and bless him, showed me a picture. First time ever I saw a picture of Hazrat rahimahullah. He showed me a picture, and he told me about the cave they used to be in. They used to stay in that area. And that's something very common with piety, even in Damascus. Salahiyah, this wonderful neighborhood, in the early days, it would be these people who go out there to the dhikr of Allah, to get away from people. So the Prophet of God, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he would go and remain isolated. He would find a place to be alone with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he did this for a while, all the way until the wahy was revealed to him. This being alone has incredible benefits. Because if you're alone, who are you with? Today we're alone because we want to be without our phones. You know it's true. I know it's true. People are in their toilets with their phones. They just want to get away from family. Put the double on, I've seen a bit. You get it? Just to be online or with some type of, whatever it is. But there, what we find one of the great sunnahs is to have khalwa, or what we call today i'tikaf, to be alone, to be isolated. And when you're alone and you're isolated, you're with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. أنا جليس من ذكرني. I am the companion, I am the one seated with the one who remembers me. And so these people, and starting with the Messenger of Allah, would love to be alone. Why? Because if you're alone, you're with Allah. They give you a chance to be alone with your beloved. And so the Prophet of God, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he did this. And this became his way, even in Islam. Because some things he did before, he didn't do after. But these are one of those, some things disappeared. But sallallahu alayhi wa sallam would sit i'tikaf every Ramadan, the last 10 nights. You see, in some tradition, 20 nights and so forth. So this is something we need. We really need this. This is a lesson we can take from the Sunnah, because by doing this, some of the benefits that you take is, you can take yourself to account. You can sit and do muhasabah. You can say, Ya Allah, what have I done today? Together, I woke up, oh God, I missed budget. What did you miss budget for? Oh, because I was out with that last night having a pizza, and then we had to have our treats, didn't we? And no one knows when we get up in the morning. Together. So you say, no, I can't do that. Together, I can't do that. And you say, why? Because every time I do that, I miss budget. And then you say to yourself, well, then what happened next? Well, then I went such and such a place. And then I went because of that somewhere else. It gives you a chance to take yourself to account. It gives you a chance to look at yourself, think, what am I doing? If you're alone, if you can sit alone and do dhikr of Allah, it gives you a chance to think about these type of things. Not only that, it's a chance to, again, this is the sweetness. It's very important we do this. before it's too late. Today I come from High Wycombe after the 35-year-old passed away leaving behind 3 children. This is common happening all the time. And it could be any of us. And so, it happens really quickly. 3 kids, orphaned, in moments. And son of a, so you get a wali, the son of a wali, the son of a wali. It don't make a difference. You will die when the time comes. And it can happen any time. And it happens quickly. And you don't get a chance to plan. Islam will say to us, he said, they made this up, but he said, some guy made friends with Malak al-Maut. He made friends with the angel of death. He said, me and you on a level. If when my time comes, drop me a text, drop me a WhatsApp, whatever, help me, send me something. We're on a level. He said, no problem, me and you on a level, go your way, you'll get a message from me, mate. So he went on his way. Years later, his time came, angel of death in front of him. So, whoa, he didn't give me a chance, he never dropped me a message. So I dropped him loads of messages. So what messages? I didn't get nothing, I'm checking nothing. He was really, from the moment I left you, look what's happened. When I left you, a young man, you could bench 100. Well, we got 250 maybe, I don't know. That's what the problem is on, what the benching these days. Here, hey, used to bench grow, used to drive this. Remember, you were fit, and you were strong, you were the strongest in your body. You were the bad boy of your class. Nobody can arm wrestle you down. Your hair was black. You had hair. No hair transplant, your hair was black. You had no children, still looking for that Lishna, praying Allah allowed you to marry through outside your caste. Hey, and when I left you, all these things were happening. Then you were married. Finally convinced Dad, or the Dad, and then you had children. Look at you. So he tells them, he goes, look, all the signs of you. Your mate died, your best friend, same age as you died, he went to school with you. So he said, look, SubhanAllah, how many signs Allah sends for us? So many signs. That's why we must do something very quickly. It takes a moment. It only takes a moment from ourselves to connect with Allah, and we made it, inshallah. This is the beauty. And that's why, go back and read the Sirah. When you read the Sirah, there's lots of beautiful lessons. One of them is alone, sit with Allah. Love Allah. Learn to love Allah. Force yourself to sit. I'm not going nowhere. I'm going to sit. Starts with Salah, after Salah, I'm not going nowhere until I do this tasbihah. And you sit. And you imagine you're talking to Allah. How many of us read Fatiha? We don't have a clue who read Fatiha in Salah. There's only in Makkah Sirah. Fatiha is supposed to be a conversation between the slave and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How many of us know the meaning of the Fatiha? Like in the prayer, I can say, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin, Iyyaka na'budu wa Iyyaka nasta'in. How many of us can read and know what we're reading and interact, even Arabs, by the way. How do they know what they're reading and actually physically are in conversation with Allah? So start by sitting and trying to be alone. Obviously this comes in the form of tahajjud. This is a great prayer. Pious people sit every night and they love it because they're alone with the Mahbub. They're alone with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I can see people here, but there's nothing. People love being alone in cars with people and so forth, chilling out with their mates, and they're in a little zone. Shisha place here with their mates in a zone. People with their nobody else can do this. We have to do this. The loss is only mine and yours if we don't do this. It's something we have to. You've got to force yourself. And so here, this is some of the benefits. It gives you a chance to think about liberation. When you're high up there, you're away from the hustle and bustle, of Birmingham and people and messaging and no Wi-Fi there. So, you can't really message anybody. It's a great place to be. You're suddenly more free. You have much more time. Oh, I'm going to read Quran. Oh, I'm going to do some salawat. Oh, la ilaha illallah. You can't do that in the house of person today. There's Wi-Fi and all these type of things. Today I saw a video where you can wake up from your bed and they've got a new device where the bed makes itself up. You just press the button, it makes it open. It's going to get worse. So here, beautiful sunnah, the Prophet of God, to be in khalwa. And like they say, the khalwa brings halwa. It brings you sweetness. It brings you sweetness because there's nothing more sweeter than you being in communion with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The other thing I want to point out is there's a famous hadith which perhaps alludes to this, because one of the benefits you get of being alone is you can really talk to Allah, you can be open. With people around, it's not easy to be open. And that's why in the famous hadith about 7 who will be shaped in the day that no shade with the shade of Allah, is a young man or a person that Allah, who remembers Allah khaliyan, فَفَاضَتْ عَيْنَاهُ. He sits there alone and remembers Allah and he starts to cry. Again, sitting there saying, Ya Allah, I love you, Ya Allah. I love you, Ya Allah. My parents teach us, love Allah, then your Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If I know I'm stuck today, you can help me maybe. I said to my daughter, who do you love the most? Allah. I said, then who? Goes Rasulullah. I said, then who? She goes, all the other prophets. And then who? My mother. Then you. Thanks. Okay. I said, I wasn't sure what to say to her. I don't know. What's the Aqidah on that? We are in the city of Aqidah, by the way. Every day, if you don't know, nobody knows. Birmingham doesn't know, nobody knows. You get it? So I'm not really sure. I said to her, I don't know, I reckon I should be loved more. I'm not sure. Because that's what we've been taught. But here, sit alone. Imagine that. You're in your car alone. Fine, just do it once even. Drive into a car park and just sit. Today I'm not going to move until I cry. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah. And think why you should love Allah. What Allah's done for you. And until you cry. Even if you're dead, I was in the Medina Munawwara. Tell you how bad I am. In 1999, I was alone in this Mawlid in somebody's house in Medina Munawwara. It was a massive living room, half of this hall. And they were all crying in dua, not me. Wallahi, I was alone. And I was like, no, that can't be. I had the mu'adhin of Medina Munawwara from Uzbekistan, I forget it, the most beautiful man I've ever seen physically here. Allah, he's crying, the children are crying, oh God, no, what am I going to do? Oh, I didn't go to Birmingham, by the way. And I just sat, I didn't know what to do, and I just hit in the ground, cry, you loser, man, cry! And I kept hitting the ground, and until the tear come out, alhamdulillah, I cried too. And it's just one of those things, I couldn't cry because I never learned to cry. The only cry I had was the sticks from the imams, you get it? They made you cry, brother. They want to hit your knuckles. You had to perfect, bringing it down so they don't play hard. I went to play football, start hitting your ankles. You guys are crazy, man. Here, like, they're here. So the point is, you've got to fake it until you make it. It's not a joke. That is amazing. You fake it until you make it. That's our religion. Fake it. Fake being pious until Allah makes you pious. Fake it that you're from the pious, we should just be rolling a spot in the streets, until it becomes natural. You haven't spent £100 on heaven or food or whatever it is today. This is natural. You've got to do it. And this is it. We have to. This is just the way it's become. So here, that's the other lesson that we take. One more thing I want to add again, 3 minutes, is another great sunnah is when the Prophet ﷺ came back to Sayyidina Khadija radiallahu ta'ala anha, he ﷺ told her what had happened, or he was in shock. We know she took the chadar or the cloak over Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then she mentioned some incredible thing, which is so practical. Say, look, he's not sure what's happened to him with this experience. And she's like, Allah will never ever never ever, what's the word was it again? Disappoint you. He will never disappoint you. Allah will never disappoint you. Why would He never disappoint you? What she said after that, some of the characteristics, we can do these things. And you see, from the moment she married him for the 15 years, she knew this man really well. There's nobody who knows you better than your spouses. Yes or no? Nobody knows better. Outside, oh, shit, whatever. Get up, it's like your time, 10 minutes left. Everybody knows the score. To get it, it's the truth. That's why one lady said she never believed in a husband to be Shah or Shah. You know, it's a wonderful story, but it's true. And she said, there you're not, you're a fake, I know what you're about. To get it, it's tight, don't give me enough money for shopping and all the rest of it. So one day she saw a man flying outside with a broomstick or something equivalent, right? And she said, wow, that's a deal. Do you get it? And then when he came back home, he said, Unba, what's the story now? She said, no. I'll tell you who's a beard. The guy I saw today, he said that was me. I said, it was no you. She said, that's the name was me probably. And I said, you? He said, it's me. No wonder you're like, shaking all over the place. But the point is, nobody knows us better than our closest family. Look what she said, the Prophet. She said, Allah will never disappoint you. Why? She said, because you're there for those who have nobody. You're there to help the weak. You're there to help the destitute. You're there, you honor your guests. Yeah, you honor your guests. Nobody comes to your house and goes empty-handed. And these traits, they're simple, they're easy to do. And they're there every day you can do them. And look at that, they're the things she listed on the long time, I know. So they're the little things that we can use daily and bring into our lives. And finally, if I may, I wanted to speak about having a mashwara, which is, before you do things, to seek counsel. And this is a beautiful sunnah of Rasulullah. And Dr. Hazrat blessed gave me these. And Allah says in the Quran, وَشَاوِرْهُمْ فِي الْأَمْرِ فَإِذَا عَزَمْتَ فَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ and إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ الْمُتَوَكِّلِينَ. It's Allah who commands the Messenger of Allah. Now look, Allah commands Rasulullah that ask the Sahaba for their opinion. Has anybody got a greater mind, heart than Rasulullah? Do you know the answer? We all know the answer. Yet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands Rasulullah to seek mashwara. And then He says, once you've asked them, and there's lots of benefits in that, by the way, there's hikmah in everything. And what some of those wisdoms is, when I ask a friend, like said Abu Bakr Siddiq and Umar and Radillahu Ta'ala, and Rasulullah asking them, what happens? It empowers them. You're going to think, whoa, me, Ya Rasul, hey, what do you think I should do? It does that. It's honoring them. Yeah, Shaykh Tanvir has this chapter of Mashwara, I don't read it. It honors them. It's takreem for them. It also shows you what these minds are about. What minds thinking, how, and so forth. And all that becomes a sunnah for this ummah. That's why in all your matters, seek mashwara. Ask elderly people. Ask the wise people. What should I do here? Should I marry such and such a person? Should I not? Unfortunately, I don't know if we can do these things in Birmingham, but in Damascus, if you wanted to get married, you go to Shaykh Tanvir and you go and you say, Sheikh, I want to marry so-and-so, or so-and-so, or so-and-so. And then grade them out of 10. They say, Nusrat Barada, 7 out of 10. Shabdam, 8 out of 10. Fatima, 9 out of 10. Even our scholars would say there, Shaykh Hamdi had missed Fajr for 80 odd years. So here, we don't have that. So we have to go to, we should ask, read istikhara, ask Allah, and ask people around you. And then, فَإِذَا عَزَمْتَ, once you've made your mind up, then rely on Allah. what do people do? Either they say, I rely on Allah, and they don't do sunnah, and they don't do mashwara, okay, they don't prepare, or they just ask people, and they don't rely on Allah, they don't follow maybe the istikhara sunnah. Ours is a beautiful religion, a balanced one, where we do a bit of everything together, and that is the best Muslim. It's the sunnah of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And finally, we learn humility. That's why Shaykh Muhammad ibn Ali al-Malik rahimahullah ta'ala, in his book, he has a beautiful book, inshallah be translated one day, I hope so anyway, Khasais al-Muhammad, and I end with this, the special traits of the nation of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. In a nutshell, very quickly, he mentions a chapter, right, entitled قصة العابد المهتم بعبادته. He mentions a chapter about a servant, right, who was full of himself perhaps. You know, he was conceited, he felt he had a station or something. He mentioned about the hadith of Muhammad, the Prophet Jibreel actually told the Prophet about a man who Allah created, who lived on a mountain with a large space on the top, and it was entirely surrounded by ocean. And he worshipped Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for 500 years. That's some money, right? 500 years, no dunya at all, bro. Just Allah. 500 years. No family, no distractions. Yeah, nothing. No get the nappies. No distractions. 500 years, just him and Allah. And Allah had created for him, just him, a spring at the bottom of this mountain, this hill, and there was a tree that gave pomegranate every single day. And he would go down, make wudu, wash up, drink, and eat the pomegranate. It would be enough for him for the whole night to worship the entire night. You imagine what level is this guy like? And he made a dua, he said, Ya Allah, let me die in sajda. Ya Allah, let my body be protected and don't let the earth and its creatures eat it away. And he made a dua, Ya Allah, also raise me on Yawm al-Qiyamah in sajda. Now you tell me, die in sajda, body, if you don't get up, wow, still the same. And on the day of judgment, when people are raised, he's raised in sajda. Allah gave it all to him. So we're told when the day of judgment will come, and Allah will say to the angels that enter him into Jannah, أَدْخِلُوا عَبْدِي الْجَنَّةَ بِرَحْمَتِي, enter this servant into Jannah through my mercy. And he will say, بَلْ بِعَمَلِي, Ya Allah, my actions, Ya Allah, I worked hard. My actions, Ya Allah, not your mercy, my actions, Ya Allah. 500 years. Allah will say, no, enter into Jannah through my mercy. And say again, no, Ya Allah, but the amal is my actions. The point here, listen, humility, right? We're talking about being humble. And Allah will say, take him into hellfire. And then we drag to Jannah. And on the way there, they'll stop and say, Ya Allah, through your mercy, come back. And when he's brought back, again, then Allah will say to him, he says, tells the angels, his bansur, Sadi ibadat, 500 years of worship, not mine and you, mine anyway, touch here and there, umrah here and there, nah! 500 years of worship, no one do wrong and pray wrong and none of that. On it, bro. 500 years of worship, the best you can possibly do, measured in the scales with what? What do you think? With what? What do you have that can probably weigh this out or outweigh it? Go on. Your bank balance. What do you have? Your business. What do you have? Allah will say, take one of his eyes. Take one of his eyes and put in the scales. On the other side, years of worship. And guess what? Don't stand a chance, bro. The weight, the blessing of a single eye will outweigh quite producing. And that's it. Heart failure, kidney failure, this failure, that failure. One eye, people. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say to him, Ya O servant of mine, who created you from nothing? He said, Ya Allah, you did. He said, a servant of mine, who gave me tawfiq to worship me for 500 years? Ya Allah, you did. And Allah said, who gave you that location to worship? Ya Allah, you did. Ya submission, Ya Allah. All of this is painful now. Who gave you the well at the bottom? Ya Allah, you did. Who gave you a pomegranate that gives fruit every single day? You did, Ya Allah. And then Allah will say to him, enter him into Jannah through my mercy. Enter him into Jannah through my mercy. He said, what a wonderful slave he was. Enter into Jannah, and then he says at the end, Jibreel alayhi salam says to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, إِنَّمَا الْأَشْيَاءُ بِرَحْمَةِ اللَّهِ يَا Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He says, Jibreel says, oh Muhammad, verily things are through the mercy, by the mercy of Allah. People, how Allah, look, this is it. Who we are. You put every single one of them on the planet. From the beginning of time, they're all the Sahaba, everybody, and they're amazing. And you put Muhammad Rasulullah on the other side, and yeah, wait. We have this incredible blessing. Allah has made us from His nation. Allah has given us tawfiq to sing His praises. Allah has given us tawfiq to serve this religion. So we say, Alhamdulillah, Ya Allah. All ultimate thanks is to Allah. Allah gives tawfiq. Forgive me for going off topic. Muhammad and thank you once again for this wonderful opportunity. May Allah make it for me and not against each other.